Or lotion on my face.
What is up, Wolfpack? We are live, week 1, fantasy football tailgate. So thrilled to be back. Your favorite boys, sadly not together quite yet with all the things going on in the world. CJ looks like he's in a prison of some sort. I don't know where the hell you are with that blank entire background. But football is back, folks. We are here, we are live, and we are going to answer every single one of your sit-start questions, get you caught up on all the big news, get you caught up on Thursday Night Football and everything in between. Also some good betting lines, DFS. We got it all, folks, and I'm thrilled. But CJ, how are you doing, and where the hell are you?
I'm at the old mother's house right now. like a typical blogger that I am.
Classic cliche.
I know. What?
Classic cliche, filling it out, the blogger in the mom's basement over there.
Oh, of course.
Love it. But yeah, as I said, get your questions in. Welcome back, guys. Some of the old-time fans all here. Mike Les, let's go. It's football time, says Scott Brooks. Mike Clay, my man, let's go. What's going on, Dan Rice? Get your questions in all right now. We're going to get to every single one of them, but let's hit first the football implications of Thursday Night Football to let the kind of mailbag grow here. Some huge ones. I thought it was obviously not a great game, kind of a blowout. The Chiefs were in control the entire way, but it was great because our boy, CJ, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, what did you think of his dazzling debut?
I mean, he made us look really, really smart. It's not the first time on a week 1 either, especially with the Chiefs. Yeah, and the best thing is that it was his floor. Like, he didn't catch any balls. He left about 3 touchdowns on the field. I mean, it's everything you could have imagined. He's well worth. I got him at pick 6. He's worth every single penny of it.
Exactly. Yeah, I had him at 4 overall on the big board, probably as high as anybody out there. And I only feel completely validated, not worried about the goal line struggles. He'll get there. They'll figure it out how to use him the best way. Now, if Darrell Williams comes in and steals it, then we could be concerned.
Oh, but he is a bad football player. He looks like he's running in quicksand.
Every time he touched the ball, it was a disservice to that offense. And you can't imagine he's going to continue touching it too often. They'll get Helaire, those receptions, all that good stuff. So, yeah, as you said, that was his floor, 20 points. So everybody like victory lapping, like, oh, Helaire, like, he got stuffed at the goal line or he didn't catch any balls. Like, I don't know what you're thinking because he got 19 points. That's probably about as low as we're going to see from Clyde Edwards-Helaire because the touchdowns will come, the catches will come. He's as good as anybody since like Christian McCaffrey as a receiver. So I'm beyond thrilled. Also, David Johnson, not our best prediction. So we're victory lapping, Helaire. DJ looked pretty good. Do you think he's back, CJ?
I think so. It looks it, especially with like all their lack of passing game weapons. Like they're gonna probably go through him plus when they're not down by 30 points. But finally got the piano off his back and he's looking good.
Exactly. We'll see how long it lasts because he looked good to start last year too, and it only lasts about 5-6 weeks. But yeah, we definitely misjudged how he looks. See some likes and everything coming in. Any comments, shares, likes, all that is appreciated, helping us get discovered. Our record of questions, I think, is 150. We might even hit 200 last year.
We definitely have 200, I would say.
We've hit 200 before. Okay, so let's try to double it up. Let's get to 200 today. So get all your questions in. We'll start taking a few. But last couple quick takeaways I wanted to make sure to highlight. Fuller looked like an absolute target hog, 11 targets, 8 catches, and was 31% target share, 45% air yard share. The guy is an alpha wide receiver 1. So in my opinion, it's time to sell high. He's only played 10 games, I think, in his career high. He's never made it through a full season. He's missed 40% of the games across his career. It just seems inevitable. And maybe if you get full 16, it's going to be dominant. But there's also almost all of it came in garbage time. 6 of his 8 catches, 75% of them, almost over half his yards, all was garbage time. So to me, I don't think they're going to be in that negative scripts. I don't think Brandon Cooks, worked along slowly, is going to be as, less involved as he was on Thursday. I think to me it's the perfect if you got a Will Fuller truther in your league that's like, oh, he's now an alpha wide receiver 1 capital.
Which is me, basically.
I'll go
down with the ship. I'll go down with the ship with Fuller. I'll wait till he gets his 8 for 200 with 2 touchdown game. But
exactly. Yeah. So you're holding strong. How you're not taking the sell high. Prey on people like CJ because they're ultimately, Fuller will have a couple big games, and he didn't even get used in his typical deep stretching role. So if they combine that target hog intermediate with the deep roll, the upside's there, but I just do not see it lasting. It's not my go-to. So that's my big ones. Also, Watkins shining. He seems to do this, almost every week one. Are you buying it at all? Are you going to, buy it? No.
Well, I mean, he'd never be on my team, but yeah, I would know. If I had him, if I drafted him for some reason, no chance.
It's just a classic. He's giving you all your hope again. I don't buy it either. But, I mean, he did dominate in the playoffs down the stretch. It's now carrying over. There were some articles that came out about, like, his mental health being in the best place it's ever been. I never even really knew he struggled with that stuff. So, maybe just maybe he's just a late, huge bloomer. Certainly you're holding on to him. I don't own him anywhere because I was as low as can possibly be. But, yeah, I'm not buying him. And as much as I buy the Fuller performance, I think it was real. I don't think it's going to carry through because I think he's just going to get hurt again. And I think Cooks is also going to, pick up. He sputtered real bad. He was limited. I think he's going to have a bigger role than we saw. Let's get to some sit-start questions, though.
One question. What's your McCole Hardman stance?
McCole, that's a great one to bring up. I should have had that on there. I mean, you were drafting him for your bench anyways. You weren't taking him as a starter. I get the round 10 price. There's probably some intriguing stuff there, so that could hurt. I don't think you're dropping him, though, at this point. I get you weren't using him. But if something happens to Tyreek or Sammy, who we know has a big injury history, I want to hang on to him at least a little longer. Now, granted, if you need a running back to fill in, we have some huge news to cover, so we'll definitely hit some of those. Yeah, you could probably drop him. Certainly, I think we overhyped him maybe a little bit, but the speed is still there. The talent is still real. And the offense is obviously still it looked as unstoppable as it's ever looked. Like, scary how good that offense is with their running game now. So they're going to put up points in a hurry. And also, Demarcus Robinson blew. Like, he dropped a touchdown. He dropped a deep ball.
He's had so many chances, too. They, keep putting him in, and he just sucks.
And I got to think that helps out Hardman, right? So I'm not – yes, you can't be happy about a one-catch, 6-yard performance, but ultimately I'm not – I think there were some positives that sneakily emerged, and mostly Demarcus Robinson blowing. So I'm not jumping ship yet. I'm going to hold strong and hold Hardman where I can at least. Let's get to some of these questions, though. It says, anyone else lagging? Let me know if it's lagging for you guys. Hopefully it's not. Sometimes when it first kicks off. But we got the perfectionist, Antonio Gibson, Jerry Jeudy, Brian Edwards, or Darius Slayton. A couple of our favorite, late-round picks. That's tricky because, and I guess we might as well cover some notes as we answer questions. Courtland Sutton's a game-time decision. Now, if he plays, he's probably going to be limited. I don't think you can trust Courtland Sutton. That brings me, the reason I pulled that one up is because the questioner asks about Jerry Jeudy. I think he can handle this. I think he can shoulder a true alpha role. I'm not, I see a lot of people tweeting out he needs a 1A to be, the 1B2. I don't think so. Yeah. I mean, what's your thoughts on Jeudy?
He was like an 18-year-old at Alabama.
Yeah.
Huge numbers. I think he's definitely ready, in my opinion. I don't see why not.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with all these guys is, except for Slayton, we haven't seen it from anyone, so it's risky to go in on the rookies right away. We love the rookies this year. We drafted tons of them. Out of all of them, which ones do I think hits? Well, Slayton's getting Pittsburgh, so it's not going to be him. I'd rather take a stab at these rookies. I mean, I probably lean Jeudy with the Sutton news. As exciting as I am about Antonio Gibson, if I have a chance to bench him and see it, I'm going to. For example, I'm benching Gibson for Boston Scott in my main league today, and I love Gibson. I can't wait to see it. He could light it up right off the start. I think I'm going Jeudy here, but this is a tough one. What do you think, CJ?
Yeah, I agree with that. Especially just he's such a great route runner. He's going to get a bunch of targets in the middle of the field. He's not he doesn't prey on vertical balls or anything. So yeah, I would definitely go with him.
Definitely. So yeah, Judy's our pick. Gibson, if you're a severe underdog, though, and it's going to be fun to ride that too. So I get it, but I like Jeudy. Whether or not Sutton plays, I mean, obviously helped if Sutton doesn't play. And the other guy that I now have up, so Judy's up to wide receiver 33 in my rankings for the week because of this Courtland Sutton news. Also, Noah Fant rises up to tight end 11 with some clearer target share. Tennessee was horrendous against tight ends last year. I think the fourth most points off the top of my head. And Fant's a huge athlete, so I love that. I think that helps. They're going to definitely try to establish their runners, but I think Tennessee can get up on them early, and you'll need some Jeudy action. So I see him catching 7-8 balls. So that's my play there. As we mentioned, too, one other quick note, and we'll keep rifling through your sit starts. Miles Sanders will be out, so where does Boston Scott land in our Week 1 rankings? I have him all the way up to RB20 right now, just behind Mostert, ahead of Le'Veon Bell, Melvin Gordon, some of these other like bigger name guys that you might have bought in round 4. I'm going to go Boston Scott over them. The guy dominated last year when he got the chances, 16, 14, 9, 25, 9 touches. And that was with Miles Sanders playing 44 of the snaps, so like well over half the snaps. Now Sanders is gone. We saw this guy put up 35 points before. I love the ceiling. You're getting the Washington Redskins, too, who gave up the third most points to running backs last year. Yeah, it's a pretty good front, but that's not how they even use Scott. They're not going to grind him into the teeth. They're going to get him outside on sweeps and in the pass game. So I just love everything about him. I think Corey Clement at 1% owned. Like, if you're already desperate, I mean, it's week 1. What the fuck's wrong with you? You shouldn't be desperate in week 1. But if you are, Corey Clement could be out there as a last stab. But Boston Scott, I'm starting more than all but 20 running backs this week. And I feel great about it. I love it.
We've received a bunch of questions about Akers or Boston Scott.
Yeah.
We've had about 10 of those.
Awesome. So we'll make sure to hit all those.
No, just in general, like right when the news dropped yesterday, we had like our inbox was flooded with like Akers or Scott.
Yeah. I saw a ton too. And I go Scott. I have Akers. I have Gibson, and I have Boston Scott. And I'm actually thrilled to have a chance to see both rookies. And again, both of them, either one of them or both, could blow up today. Like, it's not without the realm of possibility. But we know what Scott can do when he's in there. PPR RB5, RB23, RB38, and RB2, sharing the field with Sanders over their last 4 games. And the RB2 performance, that 35 one, came when Sanders got knocked out pretty early. So I feel good about his shot at hitting at least 15 touchdowns, 15 touches, 15 fantasy points, probably a score. So I'm feeling really good about Boston Scott. Let us know if you have questions about him.
He's the chalkiest of all chalk on DFS too.
Yeah, 4,800. That's a good point. Yeah. We should bring up prices too. 4,800 is a no-brainer. Like, you got to get him in lineups. I mean, yeah, if you're trying to differentiate, as CJ was saying, he's going to be chalky. Everyone's going to have him. So if you want to differentiate, maybe not the best play, but between him and Deshaun Jackson at 4,900, 2 sub-5 guys on the Eagles that I just love this week. Full PPR for Scotty Brooks, longtime fan. Great to see you, Scott. Gesicki or Higbee? I'm rolling Higbee. I mean, he was the tight end 6'7" coming into the year, and the Cowboys were bottom 10 against tight ends last year. I'd love to see him just pick up where he left off. It could happen. And Gesicki's not a guy I'm benching him for. Although earlier we were talking, you kind of like Gesicki today.
Yeah,
right?
I had him in DraftKings earlier in the week. I ended up taking him out for Hockenson. But yeah, I mean, with Chung out, the whole Patriots front seven's a disaster. I can see a big game come out of Gesicki today.
I can see it too. I still lean Higbee. The Patriots, their defense is banged up, but they still should be solid. And Gesicki was on the injury report all week. He was listed as like the second string tight end. I don't know what that was about. And you shouldn't read too much into those, but it's certainly not a comforting thing to read. And Higbee was just the guy down the stretch. Everett, obviously, returning you don't want him there, but Everett was there for the last couple of games while Higbee was still lighting it up. The number 1 tight end for those last 5 weeks. I definitely want to see if he can keep going with that. I have him pretty significantly higher, Scott, compared to Higbee. We got Standard League. And CJ, this is my first time doing this. Do you have like the side panel where it has comments, or do I just have that?
Yeah, I can see it.
So you can see people's questions and everything? All right, sweet. Standard League at Flex. Mostert, Jay Taylor, Kupp, or Swift? Ooh, a lot of intriguing options. I might go Moneybags Kupp there. Cooks is now gone. Standard League does make it a little bit different. So just grow up, David. Get out of your Standard Leagues, play some PPR. I'm just kidding, man. But I like Kupp, but the Cowboys secondary, they lose Byron Jones. I think that game's going to be a fun Sunday night shootout. I like everything about it. What
about Mostert with Coleman potentially being out today?
And I think you got to put – so it's great you have a flex. I think it's a great question, as I was going to get to. And let's get to that note real quick here, is that game's going to happen the 49 – where is it? I have Tevin Coleman here.
Which is kind of insane because it's like – most toxic area I've ever seen in my life.
Exactly. Toxic area. There's risk that Tevin Coleman might not play because he has the sickle cell trait. And if he sits, I think it's definitely Mostert. I mean, you're getting 20 probably carries locked in against an Arizona defense that wasn't very good last year and made a couple nice pickups, but like ultimately I can't see them taking a huge step forward. So if he sits, and the good thing is you have Kupp Sunday night and this guy at 4, Mostert, If Coleman's sitting, I'm going to go Mostert for sure. I'm going to lock him in standard league. I think you're getting 100 yards TD lock. And I also think McKinnon would be kind of interesting just on this note if he sits, because we already know he's the third down back, but if he's going to be the change of pace guy, gives him a chance to kind of show what we've been missing. What if he brings some juice that even Mostert can't? I think Mostert's great. I think he's a perfect fit for this offense. So I'm not saying Mostert's not great, but I'm just so intrigued to see McKinnon, especially if Coleman sits.
That like always messy backfield too. You know that McKinnon will go off for like 110. It's going to screw everything up. Then next week, like Mostert will have a huge game. It's just going to be an awful season.
It was good to see that roller coaster of Shanahan. Yeah. I do think McKinnon might have the steadiest with that third down roll too. Just I own him in so many leagues, so I'm stoked if he gets a clear path with Coleman out. And obviously, you don't want to celebrate somebody's health, but yes, I'd like to see Coleman.
So yeah, Schefter just tweeted that the decision belongs up to Coleman, and the decision is so much fluid or something. Yeah, so much is fluid with this situation.
So that's tricky. They'll probably have to keep seeing what the air quality is by the kickoff. So Mostert if Coleman sits, Kupp if not. I love Jay Taylor too, and we're gonna get a bunch of questions about him because recent rumblings of Mac being the lead guy and Taylor being his what was it they call it, like the breather back or something
something like that.
Ridiculous. I get Mac will start. Mac will probably have a good week. I can get Mac in my lineups this week and feel pretty solid about it. But it's only a matter of time before Taylor, in that same sentence they mentioned, it's a hot hand. Jonathan Taylor is one of the best running back prospects that's come out, and I know you're not a huge fan, CJ, but I personally think he's an absolute behemoth monster behind the best offensive line in football. I think he's going to have a great day today too, but similar to Gibson and Akers, I do want to see how those backfields play out. Akers in particular, they're talking about a 3-headed nightmare committee, so slightly worried about that. Hollywood Brown in for Sutton. Kevin Ford, I would have him above Sutton anyways.
Yeah,
and you can't. So we already brought up that Sutton injury note. You cannot sit here and risk. The one thing with Sutton too is he plays the last game on Monday night. We have 2 games this week, the 10 o'clock game. So if you miss your chance to play Hollywood Brown, and one of my favorite plays of the week is the entire Cleveland secondary is decimated. Their top 2 corners, their safety, it is Lamar Jackson's going to steamroll these guys today. And I think it's going to become a week 1 tradition of Hollywood Brown just going berserk every single week 1. I love it. Just kind of like Deshaun Jackson. So get him in without hesitation, because otherwise, if Sutton plays, are you excited? Like, what if he gets knocked out, re-injures it, pain tolerance, just can't handle it? And if he doesn't, who's your backup plan, right? Like KJ Hamler or he's questionable. Corey Davis is also questionable. And if you ever put Corey Davis in your lineup, you never deserve to win a football game. So yes, Kevin Ford, 100%. Give me Hollywood Brown over Sutton. No doubt about it. There's my boy, Mike Less, the Mad Money Man. Worried about Mike Evans' hammy. Who do I take for my flex full PPR? So first, before I get to your question, Mike, and I don't mean to tease you here, but let's cover that real quick. Mike Evans, how to handle this hamstring injury. So I was reading today, he got upgraded from doubtful to questionable. Is that right?
Yeah, that doesn't really happen often either. So I don't like it. I don't trust it at all.
I don't trust it at all either. And the risk of re-injury and all that stuff, you gotta. I won't play him this week. I really
it's kind
can't.
Of like it should be like with the Eagles with Sanders. Like, why are you? It's week 1.
Exactly. I guess that's the other side of the coin too. Is would they risk it if it was really bad? Yeah. So maybe he just goes out there and it's Mike Evans. And that would blow to bench it because obviously Mike Evans went healthy first game with Brady. I want to roll him out. I have him in 2 of my 3 biggest leagues, and it's pissing me off. I was thrilled to get this guy in round 3, the top of the drafts. I still am benching him for pretty much anybody. You gave some good options there, Mike Lice, so we'll pull yours back up. But ultimately, he slid into wide receiver 44 for me. So there is a point, right, where it's okay, if I'm going into the range of Golden Tate or Anthony Miller. Anthony Miller's actually in a pretty good spot today, but that area, then I might as well just throw Evans in and hope he's fully healthy. There's some real upside to that. But ultimately, I am trying to find better options. And I think Manny Sanders would definitely be one of those. Facing an awful – in that game 1, I think it's going to be a shootout, and you always want shootout games. I do really like J.K. Dobbins too. All those options, Mike, are intriguing. I would go Evans over Campbell. But I would get Sanders in there personally. And Dobbins is kind of that same approach I was talking about with Akers and Gibson, where I want to wait and see it. I think he's a monster. I know he's going to be great.
All these rookies are just like waiting to explode.
Exactly. It's just a matter of their work. I love them all. It's not. None of it is a matter of talent. All these guys we talk about are guys we believe in, and that's why we have them so highly ranked. But when you have an option to wait for him, and I think Sanders is a nice option. You're getting that awful secondary of Tampa Bay, and he's just. I think Sanders is going to end up going down as one of the best values in fantasy this year. Especially full PPR too. We're getting 580 and a touchdown, I think, out of Sanders today. So nice play, nice little slide and fill in for you. Do you have any difference in opinion there, CJ? Or you?
No, I like that. I do like Paris Campbell just in DraftKings, but not
3,900.
Yeah.
Great price.
But yeah, I'd definitely go with Sanders. He's like the known commodity here.
Right, exactly. Good long-term fan here, Giuseppe Russo. I think you won your league last year. Crowder, Tate, Edwards, or Jay Jefferson. PPR. I think Tate's the lowest for me. Or Jefferson. I'm not trusting Jefferson off the bat yet. He's running with the second team. I like Crowder. Remember last year, what was it, 18 targets in the first week?
14 receptions, I think.
And they had nobody else around him, and that's why it happened. Well, Mims is already ruled out. I think Perriman is playing, but he's been banged up all camp. I think this could totally be a Crowder and Herndon at 3,300 on DraftKings too. Just one of those unsexy, you never yay, I have Crowder in my lineup.
It'd be 11 receptions, 85 yards.
Exactly, right, exactly. Averages 4 yards a catch, but he'll have 12 catches. So, especially in PPR, Giuseppe, I think you're going to get a lot of volume sent Crowder's way. The safest option. I like having Edwards. I like having Jefferson. But again, if you can wait on a rookie and you got a nice safe option, I always lean that way for week one. I can't wait to see Edwards play, though. Mark Ingram, Boston Scott, or Marvin Jones, but one in the flex. Woo! Anthony Fella, you got some loaded options. I love all three. And let's cover why we like Marvin Jones before we get back to your question, Anthony. Kenny Golladay, doubtful. I don't know if it's official yet, but he's not going to play today, it seems.
No,
and so, of course, that impacts Marvin Jones, now the number one. And he's been the number one before. He can handle number one corners. It's not something where I'm scared about that. Now I just know he's getting more volume. It's a good Bears secondary. But still, I like Marvin Jones a lot. He's up to wide receiver, I think 25 right now in my ranking. So I feel really good about him. I love TJ Hockenson this week. The Bears were susceptible to tight ends last year. He just killed it last year when he was healthy. He got hurt early on. He said he's back to 100%. I could see him being a nice 8-catch, 100-yard monster day for Hockenson. And then Stafford, I dropped him a couple spots. Obviously, it hurts to not have your number one. The reason we love this guy is he bombs away, has two twin towers, and the monster of Hockenson in the seams. I dropped him down, though, QB 16 behind Big Ben. Just guys that I feel better about their weapons cabinet and matchup. You get a tough matchup at less than full strength here for his weapons for Stafford. I drop him just a little bit. Is the way I'm looking at that. Is there any takeaways that I'm missing there, CJ?
I think you hit it all, I'd say, with them.
Yeah, so in that sense, and in that game, too, I sneaky like a shootout. I do think it's going to be a good game script. So Jones is a great option, but all that was to say, I still think I go Ingram. Week one, they're going to ride their standover from last year, stalwart for that offense. Cleveland, as we talked about, banged up in the secondary, but also just has consistently had one of the worst front sevens in football the last couple of years. So just a banged up defense in general. I think the Ravens aren't going to struggle to put up points. I love targeting the Ravens defense because if Baker has to go in Chuck mode, we're going to get a pick six today. 3,100 on DraftKings. That's my number one defense out there, by the way. But Ingram, I think, is just a great bet for 80 in a TD, safer. Jones, more upside. And Scott, probably higher upside too. So I guess, fella, if you're, you can let us know if you're a severe underdog, then maybe it changes. But to me, I feel like Ingram's just a lock for 12, 15 points here. So unless you need a blow up of Boston Scott or Jones, full PPR, though, is intriguing. What do you think, Ingram, Scott, or Jones here?
I would go Ingram because I feel like Golladay not playing hurts Jones. Jones is the perfect wide receiver too, but I don't think he's a one in my opinion.
Yeah.
So it's I think if Golladay was playing, I would probably lean Jones, but I think I'm going to go Ingram here.
It's definitely, yeah. And again, we love Scott. I have Scott at RB20. I think I have Ingram at 18. Scott having the higher ceiling, but Ingram just so safe for week one. I think I got to roll that. Katie Jiggs, what's going on? Who should I play? My flex full point PPR, Parker, Gibson, or Judy? All, again, good options. I'm probably leaning to benching Parker. I know he roasted Gilmore last year, but Gilmore is going to make that like a point of pride.
I've been like talking shit on Twitter all off season to each other. Like Gilmore's like circled this on his calendar.
Yeah, I would, if you're taking, round 2 between Parker and Gilmore, I'm going to bet on Gilmore every time. So I'm benching Parker this week if I can. And you got 2 good options here with Gibson and Judy. I think I'm rolling Judy now with this news on Sutton, the new potential alpha number 1 there. And I think he's going to be great right off the kick. So I go Judy. Let's see what Gibson does. I mean, it'll be frustrating if he has like 30 points on your bench today, rips off a 75-yard touchdown on his first touch like he does every game at Memphis. We don't know if that's going to be the case. We don't know if he's going to be used. AP saying he's the pony style guy. I love Gibson. But again, if I can wait and see it, I'll wait and see it. And
I want to wait. I want to wait like a week or 2 on Gibson. He had like 70 touches in college. I don't know. I just can't see him like jumping into the NFL and being like this bell cow.
Right, exactly. Not at least early on. Maybe it's going to take a week or 2. I think McKissick's listed as the starter. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, I lean Judy there. But man, Gibson's so tricky to bench. But yeah, give me Judy. I'll play Judy over Parker this week. 1 point PPR flex, pick 1. Edelman, Robinson, Jax. Oh, probably not Allen Robinson.
James Robinson.
Gotcha. Or Rojo. And this is another one we had to cover. I love when the questions kind of lead us to our segues. So Jaguars running backs, James Robinson, Chris Thompson, and not a running back, but LAVISKA SHENAULT, all in play today, in my opinion. Obviously, we know Fournette is gone, but bigger news is not bigger news. Obviously, that's the biggest news, but also now Devin Azigbo removed, Raquel Armstead removed. So literally no.
He's had COVID like 4 times.
Right, exactly. Is he ever going to recover? We'll see. But there's really no competition in the way for James Robinson. I mean, Chris Thompson will be the pass catching back. So I like them both. The question is how early do the Colts get up on the Jags? Because we know they're going to bury the Jags, in my opinion. It's just a matter of how long is this game competitive, because Robinson could see his role just become nothing. But if he gets going early, this guy was a yards after contact monster in college, led the nation. I think it was over 1,300 yards after contact last year, and just kind of put that entire program on his back. Had a 4.64 40, which you don't like to see, but he's a big boy at 220 and still was like a top level 94th percentile spark athlete, if you care about any of that type of like metric stuff. So the guy, has a little bit of juice, and they said the reason they felt comfortable releasing Fournette, James Robinson was a huge part of that. So you got to pay attention to that stuff. Personally, if I'm choosing between any of these guys, I like Chris Thompson the most, because I think they're going to get down. I think they're going to, have to pepper him late. I think Chris Thompson 4K on DraftKings might be one of the best. If you want to pivot away from Antonio Gibson's 4,000, love me some Chris Thompson. Love me McKinnon, especially if Coleman sits too. But Thompson, he used to crush it under Jay Gruden, the now offensive coordinator for the Jags. Had like a 20-point day, I think last year even, before Gruden got fired for his first week. Just gets peppered, and I think he's going to get peppered again this week. So I like Thompson, but I would play Robinson if needed. And then again, LAVISKA SHENAULT, 4,400 on DraftKings. Just a monster. They said he's getting creatively used in camp, moving all over into the backfield. And that's how he was in college, the goal line kind of hammer back in the Wildcat. So he could be a monster. I would double check. I wanted to make sure I brought up SHENAULT just as like, if you have a stash spot that you can cut somebody and you want some upside sitting on your bench, I think he might be the one everyone's sprinting to get at this time next week after Tuesday for your waivers. So those are some guys I wanted to point out. Let's get back to that question specifically for David. Edelman, Robinson.
It's a no-brainer.
To me, it's Edelman, right? Yeah. When you got a great option like Edelman, you grow with it. And I think not everybody's all in on the Pats offense this year, but I really think today, especially against Miami, they're just going to come in and steamroll. I really think we're going to have a sweet kickoff to the season, and Cam's going to run all over them. They're saying Cam and Edelman's rapport in practice has been lights out. It's clear cut, and it's obvious. Who else is it going to be? Edelman's been the staple for so many years, but it's still that way, which is nice to get confirmed that he's been the engine in early camp, and those two have a nice rapport. So give me Edelman.
I've heard from our little Patriots insider that that Edelman's the only one that's really done anything in camp. Like, Sanu obviously was cut, but terrible. Harry, I guess, has been horrendous. He had like 2 really, really good days, but that's about it. But yeah, Cam's locked onto him and James White.
Perfect. Yeah, I think James White also had an awesome play this week too. Miami, you got Sony Michel worked in slowly. They're saying Harris on the IR. James White is going to be a beast today too. So Edelman, White, both 6K on DraftKings. I prefer Edelman, but I like them all, and I love Cam Newton at 6,100 on DraftKings. 1 PPR, Boston Scott or Rojo? I'm going Scott, definitely. I know you've always been a Rojo boy, CJ. Are you buying the reports that he's still the guy?
I can't, no. And it's so sad. Like, this is Rojo's time. Arians like blowing him for like a week or so, and then they just sign, like, especially the guy I hate the most in the league too. Fournette, like Fournette, I just hate everything about Fournette, and like just ruined my season basically.
Exactly. You're such a Rojo, writing him love letters this offseason, and now Boston Scott is a more recommended play than Rojo. But I have, like I said, Boston Scott above all but 20 running backs this week, so I think he's an awesome play. I don't want any part of that Bucs backfield, at least not for week 1. Let's see how it all plays out. But the Saints have one of the better, run defenses and a horrendous pass defense. So that's kind of that funnel. Like, you just are bombs away in those games. That's what I think that game will be: Breeze versus Brady. Gallup or AJ Brown in my flex, full PPR. Jose Vega, good to see you, brother. I'm going AJ Brown. I mean, you drafted him for a reason, right? In round 3 or 4, and that's because his enormous upside. Now, Tennessee's not a great matchup, but they gave up, you think about the games to like Tyreek Hill and big play receivers last year. They gave up plenty of huge plays, and that's what A.J. Brown is. And I like Gallup, especially with Ramsey shadowing Cooper, but I go A.J. Brown here. What do you think, CJ? You locked in there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always kind of iffy on A.J. Brown, but I ended up picking him in like the 3rd or 4th round in one of my leagues just because he was there. But I don't know. Obviously, I'm going to go with him in this question. But yeah, he's so big play. Like, he had probably 3 touchdowns of 70 yards last year. So I don't know. I feel like that's going to regress. And then I don't know. I think I'd still lead him here in this.
Yeah, but the thing that I love about him is just how good he is after the catch. Like, so many of those big play touchdowns, he kind of made happen. It wasn't dependent on a quarterback. And, we don't have to be dependent on Ryan.
Wearing like the linebacker shoulder pads.
He's a monster. It's the son to watch the dude zip down the field at his side. Yeah. Give me A.J. Brown, Jose. Plus, you get the Monday night thrill. Like, it's always good to have some life on Monday night. And he's the type of guy, like, even if you were down 30, you might still have a shot because he's just so good. I mean, the number 1 scoring receiver down the stretch. So yeah, it's Seamus. Welcome back. Yes, football. That's a Seamus comment if I've ever seen one, my dude. I love your squads this year. We're going for 4 out of 5 titles. Going for it, baby. Love it. Gibson or James Robinson PPR? That's a good question. I think I'm going to go Gibson here. Like, I know that James Robinson's got the higher floor, a good shot to see 15-ish carries, but it's just the Jags, and it's like, come on. Fournette only got 3 touchdowns on that offense last year. Everything we hated about Fournette applies to James Robinson still, despite the fact that Fournette's gone. Bad offense, bad game scripts. And Gibson just has that juice factor. I'm going to go Gibson. But are you a James? What are your thoughts on James?
I like James Robinson a lot. I hate agreeing with you on every single question right now. I feel like I'm Maz and Felger. But I do like Robinson as a stash, though. I added him in 2 or 3 leagues, and I don't know. He's produced at every single level. He's Illinois' all-time leading rusher in high school, and then he's like Illinois State all-time leading rusher. He just produces.
Yeah.
It was actually funny. They asked him why he chose Illinois State, and he didn't have any offers, and he was like, "I just didn't feel like going to any camps."
Okay. Well, good luck.
But then it didn't matter, and he still went to Illinois State, and he is where he is now. So.
Yeah. So you mean very productive guy, definitely worth owning. I think I'm going Gibson. But Mike, if you're a heavy favorite and you just want the share points, I do think James Robinson's more locked into at least
10, 12.
So Gibson, you're going for that 20-point swing. But yeah, I'm going Gibson most cases here. D. Parker or L. Bell in my flex full PPR. I think this week you got to go Bell. With that, as we said, Parker, tough matchup with Gilmore. Gilmore's had this one circled since they've had all that beef this offseason. And I think Parker, also not at full health either. it's a pretty easy week to sit him, in my opinion. I just lost a bunch of comments came in, so it threw me down to the bottom here. One sec. Keep them coming in, guys. We do want to break that record. And again, we got to 21 likes. Love it. Any likes, comments, shares, always appreciate it. If you're in a fantasy football group on Facebook, you can drop it in, or on Periscope, retweeting it. Any of that is always so appreciated. So thanks so much for all the interaction so far. We will keep answering those questions. We got a couple more notes, but longtime fan here, Stephanie Progan asking, wide receiver and flex PPR, Djax, Montgomery, AJ Green, Boston Scott, Anthony Miller, or Lamb. You have a ton of great options here. You also have Dak. Go Pats. For the receiver spot, I'm going to go Djax. Week 1 blow-up spot against the Redskins. Literally the same exact narrative as last year, and he put up 8 catches, like 160 and 2 scores. He did that the year before, too. Every year, it's like an annual tradition. Djax blows up.
He's like the Sammy Watkins, basically.
Exactly, right. Another one of Sammy Watkins. So I feel great about him this week against the Redskins secondary is already horrendous, and now they don't have Kendall Fuller today. So the one thing that makes me slightly nervous in that game, people are bringing up, is how banged up that offensive line is for the Eagles. Is he going to have time, Carson Wentz, to throw it downfield? I still think so. I'm not overreacting to it. And they remember how they used Djax last year early on. It wasn't just deep shots. They got it to him early and often. Was the number 1 receiver in fantasy that week, I think, at worst number 3. So I like Djax. And then for the flex, I'm probably, again, full PPR, going to go Scott here.
I'm going to go Scott here, too.
Yeah, I think I'd go Scott. If he wasn't an option, I'd probably go Lamb over AJ Green, to be honest. Especially that Dak stack would be sweet. But I like Boston Scott. Sure bet for 15 plus touches, probably 15 points. I think you kind of gifted a nice free square for Boston Scott this week.
I'm looking forward to CeeDee Lamb so much. I wouldn't start him this week. Just like the other rookies, I'm kind of hesitant, but I can't wait.
So excited to see him. Just a couple quick notes, too, on other stuff. Mike Williams is going to play shoulder. He's got the questionable tag, but he is still likely to play today. So I wouldn't have him in my lineup. Don't touch him this week. But just a nice field-stretching presence for everybody else involved, Eckler, Keenan Allen. But you can't have him. You can't trust him in your lineup. Probably more of a decoy. Derrick Henry going to be an every-down guy because Darrington Evans, their expected third-down back, is out. Who knows if that will lead to too many more catches, but just they literally only carried Henry and Evans on their roster, so they have nobody else. So worth just even more this week. Now he's not in the main slate of DFS because of the Monday night game, so this only really matters. And you were never going to be benching Henry anyways, but just huge upside this week. I'm taking my running back 3 now. And then 49ers, this one we could dig into a little bit here. They put Deebo Samuel on the IR with that foot injury. So at least 3 weeks. That's different now that the IR, I think everybody sees IR and they're like, oh no, doom. But this season, it's up to 3 weeks now, not just 8 weeks. So honestly, I don't hate when teams, especially if you're drafting Deebo Samuel, is to be on your bench anyways. I kind of like when teams take it slow, get your guy fully back and ready to go rather than forcing him out, having him flare up. Kind of like what the Eagles are doing with Sanders. Obviously it sucks for your week 1 lineup, especially if you don't have Scott. But I'd rather them take the time, do it the right way, get your guy healthy. So I'm not mad about it.
Fantasy-wise, you have a spot if you have one.
You cut off for a second. What did you say?
Fantasy-wise, you get to put him in your IR spot if you have one. So
exactly. And every league should have an IR spot this year with COVID. So I slapped him right in there. I think I picked up Irv Smith or something just to see what happens, today. And probably will cut him right away. But Josh Kelly, another guy, if you put Deebo in your IR spot, I love picking up Joshua Kelly and seeing what he does for the Chargers and seeing how that backfield plays out. Whoever becomes that 1B to Eckler is going to have some value. So I like owning him. And obviously, look at Brandon Ayuk. If he's out there in, I think, 60% of leagues right now. So double check for him. Questionable today to play, but dangerous and deadly after the catch, which is exactly what those guys thrive on and prioritize.
Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah, Kendrick Bourne, too, could have a big day. Hillary Margaret asking, Tannehill or Stafford? That's tricky because Stafford did lose Kenny Golladay. I think it's typically a no-brainer. And that defense for the Broncos banged up, losing Von Miller right before the season starts. I kind of like Tannehill in this one. I don't know. This is a tough one. Is that where you draw the line for Stafford, though, CJ? Like, what do you think?
I've been a Stafford guy. I have him in 2 leagues. I'm rolling him out this week still.
You're going to
even without Golladay, I'm still going.
Yeah, top 12 quarterback pick. We loved him coming into the year. And I do think the Bears are going to put up some points. We got Jeffrey Okada. How do you use your OSU boy, right? Jeffrey Okada for the Lions?
Okuda?
Yeah, Okuda. I forgot how to say his name, so I'm turning to you. He's expected to be out, so even their secondary already sucked. They lost Darius Slay. They tried to replace him with Okada, and now he's out. So ultimately, I think A-Rob and Trubisky, sneaky good stacks on DraftKings today. 5,400 for Trubisky. He's won people millions multiple times, and this could be a $1 million Trubisky day. And obviously, you stack him with Allen Robinson. So if that happens, that's all to say. I like Stafford if it becomes a shootout game, which I really think it could.
Golladay officially out, by the way.
Officially out too. Okay, so yeah, I guess we stay Stafford hesitantly, reluctantly. Mike Evans, start or sit for Will Haney. You need to know your other options, but most likely I'm sitting if I can.
Yeah.
I have him at wide receiver 44, so there's a good chance you have somebody that I would have below him. Good morning, fellas. It's time to ball. Justin Reese. It sure is, my dude. 2-flex league. Taylor, Gibson, Rager, Ruggs. Who do you like? I like going Jonathan Taylor over Gibson. I feel a little more certain he's going to steamroll the Jaguars today. So I like Taylor, and I like Ruggs. I love that matchup. I think that's my sneaky favorite matchup to target on DraftKings is the Vegas Raiders versus the Panthers, because that Panthers defense is just abysmal. I think Ruggs could go crazy right off the bat. So I go with him. If Rager was, he's fully healthy, he's playing today, but missing that time, I don't know if they limit him at all. I still love the matchup for him, but if I had the option between Ruggs and Rager, I'm going Ruggs, and I'm going Taylor. So to me,
I think would you go Ruggs over Gibson too? I think he's asking pick two.
Yes, I would. Yeah. I'd go Taylor Ruggs as my favorite two of that one. David asking Edelman or AJ Brown PPR. Whew, that gets a little trickier now. Edelman was the no-brainer over your other ones. I think I still am going the upside of AJ Brown, but Edelman's just gonna, he's gonna have 8 catches for 90 yards. It's a matter of if he finds the end zone today.
Yeah, the floor is definitely there for Edelman.
And full PPR too. Yeah, I mean, that's, again, one of those ones we don't want to cop out, floor is Edelman, ceiling's AJ Brown. But it is true. You sometimes have to consider that. Are you a nice, steady favorite? Then you got to just get Edelman. Get your guaranteed 15 points today. But if you're an underdog, you're facing, a monster lineup.
Clyde Edwards-Hilaire's wiener on your face.
Right. Slapped around on Thursday night by that one. Yeah, exactly. I like AJ Brown, though, personally, just a little bit more. Kyler Murray or Big Ben for this week, asked Robert Moreno. Good to see you, Robert. I'm probably going to stay with Kyler. He did good against San Fran last year in both their meetings, and it's so much more fun to roll him out. That being said, Big Ben's facing a putrid Giant secondary. So it is close. I think I have them QB 13 for Murray and Big Ben 15.
I think I'm leaning Ben there. What are your thoughts on Ben now that he's a revitalized human? He's lost 100 pounds. He's not addicted to porn anymore.
Well, how do we know that? Yeah, how do we know that? You hanging out in the Roethlisberger household?
Sure.
That dude's still cranking himself every day. I don't trust him too much, but I mean, he's got a great weapons cabinet, and so if he's back, it was just 2 seasons ago the guy led the league in passing yards.
He's healthy for the first 3 weeks until he starts hobbling everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So I do like Big Ben, and he's got the better matchup for sure. But I'm going to go Kyler personally. CJ goes Big Ben. But I like the air raid year 2. I think San Fran's defense is obviously good, but people shy away a little too much, and that game has definite shootout potential. Giuseppe with another one, debating still Teddy or Tyrod week 1 rest of the season. It's Teddy. Stop debating. Don't debate. It's Teddy. At least if you follow us, we've been all in on Teddy all offseason. Full PPR wide receiver Edelman or AJ Brown, asks David. We already got that one.
Yeah, you just got that one.
We just got that one. Landry or Edelman for Giuseppe. Definitely going Edelman, especially today. Reports are Landry's going to play, but be on a potential snap count, recovering from offseason surgery today. Edelman's just such a smash play anyways. Why go against the Ravens when you can go against the Dolphins for the same exact role? A nice high-volume PPR guy. So give me Edelman. Better matchup, less injury risk for today. It's a no-brainer for me. With Golladay out, I'm forced to start for Geckel. Good fan here. I love Cam Geck. Kirk Crowder.
Look at that fish thing that he has in his profile.
Yeah, that's a beast. Is that a shark dude? Kirk, Crowder, or Hilton. Seems like Hilton's the right choice. Do you agree? I do. I like Crowder, as we talked about in that target hog role today, but Jaguars, Hilton, like it could be a bloodbath. So give me that one for sure. From the Twitter DMs, Dan Haig's kind of cleaning up our DMs here. Appreciate it. Josh Allen or Joe Burrow? It's Josh Allen week. I mean, he's getting the Jets, right? I love Burrow. I cannot wait to see Burrow. Wouldn't be surprised to see a smashing rookie debut, but we know Josh Allen gets it done well, especially in easy matchups. He's going to steamroll them, probably rush for a touchdown or two, throw for at least two. I think it's going to be a great game for him at 6,500 on DraftKings. I like Josh Allen quite a bit. Do you have any disagreement there, Siege? Or is that a pretty?
I was answering the DM.
The DM. Yeah. Yes. It's Josh Allen. It's a no-brainer. Sanders is hurt. Do I flex Edwards or Moss? Asks Jeremiah Moore. It's weird answering Moss questions and not have it be Randy. So sad. It's the best. I go Edwards there. We talked about how we like that shootout style matchup between the Raiders and the Panthers. I'm going to go there. I like Moss too. I mean, again, he could probably find the end zone this week for the Bills, but let's see what his role is. A lot of speculation he could take over for Singletary. Love to see it if I own him, but let's see him do it before we start trusting him there. Boston Scott, Gibson, Deshaun Jackson, or Jalen Reagor at flex today. Full PPR, EK Pew, 28. I'm going to go Scott there. No, Deshaun Jackson. I
like Scott. I think
you go Scott over D-Jack. I can't get away from D-Jack.
There's a lot of Eagles up there.
A lot of Eagles, right? And I think they're going to light it up. I think they're going to light up the Redskins. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them all have big games. But I feel most confident in a blow up from D-Jacks. Like them all though. All good options. That's tough. You said you like Boston Scott over Deshaun Jackson?
Yeah, I think so.
It does. There is the sneaky, everybody loves Deshaun Jackson this week. And I feel like whenever that happens, it ends up being one catch for 20 yards and everybody gets screwed. So there is that little nervous hype train around him, but I think the hype train's deserved and he goes off today. Omar, we made it. We did indeed. Thompson or Montgomery, full PPR. Never going to recommend Montgomery, even though he's probably the featured back.
How the hell is he back? I was so confused when I saw it this week. We've gotten 3 DMs on Twitter being like, "Hey, you don't have Montgomery in your rankings."
Oh shit! We should probably add him then. So, where is he going to even land? I don't know. I'm not into him. I'd probably rather have Tom. But Detroit sucks too. So it's I don't know, lose.
Full PPR. Could go down couple of dump offs.
I like Thompson's floor rather because they're going to get down.
Really good offseason too, I guess.
Yeah, he's gonna catch probably 6 balls today, so that's as good as your touchdown upside for Montgomery. It's just a matter of what's Thompson do with it. So I like Thompson, especially full PPR. Standard Devin Singletary or Antonio Gibson. I got to go Gibson here, David Glass. As we talked about. Zach Moss is rumored to be right on his heels for Singletary, could even take over the gig. This could be another one, though, like David Johnson, where we were all down on him, and then Singletary looks good and just plays like he did at the end of last year. But I'd rather go Gibson and see the upside of him than Singletary. What do you think, CJ?
Yeah, I'm definitely going Gibson here. I want no part of that backfield, especially with Josh Allen will probably score run a touchdown, and then Moss. Right. Moss also will probably get goal line touches. I'm not feeling between the 20s running back.
That's the thing with Singletary is you already have the vulture of Josh Allen, and then last year Frank Gore had I think the 5th or 6th most carries from inside the 5 last year.
Yeah. And that'll be Moss. Moss is an absolute hammer between the tackles. So.
Exactly. So the touchdowns are not going to be easy to come by for Singletary. So especially for standard, I mean Gibson's value I guess is in receiving too, but bigger play. I'll go for the big play there. Miles out. I have to play Hunter. I picked up Boston. Any thoughts? Asks Jacobs Tuning. I'm going to go with Boston there over Kareem Hunt. Now, Hunt is in a decent spot because Landry banged up. I think they get down big, and you're going to get a lot of garbage time potential. Hunt especially off that big deal too. I like, that makes me think more of his value. But Baltimore, not a matchup I'm targeting. Give me Boston Scott in a juicy spot. Agreed there, Siege?
Yep.
And that's half PPR. It doesn't make a difference for me regardless. Johnny Goodtimes, Johnny Nottingham, Edelman, Boyd, Devontae Parker at flex PPR. Definitely not Parker. To me, it's Edelman, but I do love Boyd too.
I like Tyler Boyd there, I think.
Yeah, even over Edelman, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I guess Burrow's been locked on to him at practice. He's been like complete alpha. So I think I'm going to go there. That's
true. I mean, that rapport has been ridiculous according to the camp. But Edelman, it's just Miami. Like, come on. It's Miami. He's going to crush it. DK Metcalf or TY, 1 PPR. Damn, how are you deciding between those two and not like locked into both? I go DK though, no brainer for me. The way he finished last year, 160 yards, most by a rookie of all time in the playoffs. Potential for a shootout that's when that offense just becomes one of the most fun to watch in the league. And I think the Falcons do have the firepower to make that a potential shootout game. So give me DK. And at 5,800 on DraftKings, I think I have him in literally every single lineup. Him, McLaurin at 5,600. That like wide receiver from 5 to 6K, it's absurd the value.
It's basically the same tier that we were looking at in redraft too.
Exactly, but like they're my top 13 receiver plays, and they're priced as if they're like top 25 receivers. So give me those guys all day. Gibson, Marco Escobar over on YouTube. Let's get some YouTube interaction here. I like it. Gibson, Ingram, or Hunt in my flex to replace Sutton. Ooh, I'd probably go Evan Ingram and maybe Kareem. I like Ingram. I mean, you use him when he's healthy, right? So who's your tight end? One, you must have like a Kelsey or a Kittle if Ingram's not in the question for your number one tight end. But, in that Jason Witten role for Jason Garrett, right, that, over 140 targets a season for 5 straight years where Garrett was the one calling plays. Now you give him a better athlete in Evan Ingram, and all the reports in camp, the dude was dominant. All the talk of who's their number one receiver. Well, it's Evan Ingram, even though he's the tight end. Give me Ingram there. I think that's the play, but that's not an easy one. Do you agree with Ingram, CJ? Or
I think it's pretty easy, to tell you the truth.
With Ingram, and it's easy, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes me feel even better about that one. So yeah, Ingram over those other guys. Boston Scott over Hunt. We just answered that, and it is a yes. Jimmy Bridges, good to see you. The day has come. Why does everyone say, "What's up, Wolf"? Nobody giving the bald man love over here. What's up, CJ? Somebody say hello to him. I know he's in prison here. We need somebody to be nice to him. But hey, Jimmy, good to see you. I go. Oh, well, the day has come. It's not a question. So yes, I'm going to go out all day because it's so freaking exciting. Nate Berry. Suppose your team has 0 depth for starting running backs. Yeah, that team is horrendous. I think the one you're referring to.
What?
His team is awful. So bad. You got. Oh, he's facing Sammy Watkins too this week. But yeah, who are your starting running backs? Make us chuckle, mate. I think it's Jonathan Taylor, and then it might be Thompson is the next guy. Any waiver running backs that are 1 injury away from being a viable fantasy option, asking for a friend. Our waivers, the league, we're in league together, and our waivers have no real good ones. Darrington Evans isn't playing today. He was one I looked at adding, but then it was like, well, even if something happens to Henry, this guy's not fully healthy himself. So I didn't see any yet out there.
Any of the Jaguars guys?
You could look for the Jaguars guys. Those guys are now up to like the 40% range. I'm trying to think of he's looking for handcuffs, right? Is even Darrell Williams didn't look great, but he's a viable handcuff if something ever happened to Hilaire. I think he's owned in our league. Who might be out there is Benny Snell. If something ever happens to Connor, all the reports of that guy is slimmed down, looks really fit. I know he's only 10% owned, and that he is the clear-cut number 2. It's it'd be a workhorse type situation. No Jalen, not Jalen Rashad. What's the guy's name? Jalen. Who's the one from the Steelers? The guy that was the tight end.
Oh, Jalen Samuels.
Samuels, that's it. Yeah, he's become a non-factor. So if Snell's out there, Nate, I think that's probably your best bet.
I also saw something on Twitter about how Devonta Freeman hasn't been signed yet, because I guess this year in the CBA, if you're signed on week 1, then your contract's guaranteed the rest of the season. So after this week, it's going to be the veterans are all going to be signed.
That's a really good point. Yeah, maybe look and see if Freeman's out there, Nate, because he'll probably, some of those gross veterans could get picked up. maybe like AP's lingering. Fat backfield, so gross. So the Lions, just awful. Boston Scott over Jordan Howard, right? Definitely. And I like Howard. I think the New England front seven.
And I think he can get a lot of yards today.
Yeah, I think he could be sneaky good play, but I feel better about Boston Scott personally. Full PPR, Jordan Howard or Fournette. Well, now we can say Jordan Howard. I go Jordan Howard there. All this talk, Rojo's still the guy. I don't know that I buy that, but he's going to be involved at least early on week 1 here. So give me Jordan Howard. Do you agree with that one too?
Yep. I hate Fournette.
Probably my favorite question of the day. Why does CJ have butthole eyes? CJ, any explanation?
Just a tired man. 30 now, over the hill, ready to wrap it up.
Did you get yourself into anything fun last night to create butthole?
No, watched a little Kansas football till about midnight. Got up early for the English Premier League. Now that I'm an English guy, and watching some real football. So
you're getting converted. Look at you! Oh my good lord!
It's on the TV right now, and so the pregame.
What happens when you've been dating your British lovely Lauren over there? She converted you full time. I love it. Good for you. Would you trade Watkins for Hunt? My team is very wide receiver heavy. I need an RB. I think so. I think that's a good price gauge on Watkins. We see him blow up every year. Now, Jeremiah, if you trade him and he does that all season and he's like the new alpha for the Chiefs, my bad. Like that, there is the little slim chance that that's actually the case. But I love Hunt. I really do. And if you're thin at running back and you already have a bunch of good receivers, I would hammer yes. Would you do that trade, CJ? Hunt for Watkins?
Yeah, I wouldn't want Sammy Watkins anywhere near my team.
Yeah, I think that's the ultimate sell high right there. So I like that a lot. James White, Kareem Hunt, Chris Thompson, PPR. I'm going Jimmy W today. Although I guarantee you Rex Burkhead the one that scores 3 touchdowns.
It's gonna be a weird day.
It is, but White's as you were saying, our Patriots insider, Mr. Hannibal, says that it's only James White and Edelman that have been reliable options for Cam and Camp. So give me that.
He said Gunner was their second best receiver. I'm pretty sure he's out today too.
Good lord! Gunner's gonna have a 10-catch day today.
No, I think he's out today. So it's
oh shit! Yeah, Jimmy White's the play. You drop Swift to acquire Scott. Oh, I mean, Scott's going to have his 1 week of use this week, and it sounded like Sanders is pretty close to returning. If I knew Sanders was out for at least 4 games or something like that, I might consider it because Scott's going to be a very viable RB2 for however long Sanders misses time. But it might just be a 1 week rental. Whereas Swift, I hate the situation. I hate the Lions as a coaching staff. They love their committees, but he's got so much talent. He was one of the better backs to come out this year. If he had landed with the Chiefs, we would have all been taking him where Hilaire went. So I like Swift. I think I keep him stashed unless you really need to use Scott for this week or for any near future picks. I keep Swift. What do you think, CJ?
I'm not a Swift fan at all. And just that whole backfield, just everything about that running game, I just don't like. And then especially, if the hamstring lingers, I would do that. Yeah,
I keep Scott. Let's see. Boston Scott shares already paying dividends. I grabbed him late wherever I could. Sure is Omar. Locked in starter this week. Good morning, Wolfie. Again, no love for CJ. So sad, CJ.
I look tired.
It's the butthole eyes. Nobody wants to say hello to you, I guess. Would you play Rager over Gibson in the flex? Ooh, that's a close one. They're both uncertain rookies, but I feel better about Gibson's workload. So give me him. Gibson over Taylor, asks Jory. A follow-up question to his eyeball comment. I go Taylor. I go Jay Taylor. I know Matt's the main back and he's the spell back. They're calling him Taylor.
I told him that over text this morning. He's not buying it. He has Gibson locked in.
Oh, wow. Okay, Jory. Intriguing. But I personally go Taylor if I had them both. Truth hurts. Jack hurts. Truth hurts. It sure does, doesn't it, Truth? Standard flex, Le'Veon Bell or Henry Ruggs. Ooh, that's
I'm going Lev.
Yeah, I think you got to go your bell cow. But, I mean, I don't know. I could see Ruggs really going off today for 90 and a TD, a big play. You can already hear the announcers, the electric rookie. You just hear some of these things in your head before they happen. I think we're going to get a good highlight call from Scott Hansen just going crazy over Henry Ruggs at some point. So you know what? I'm going to go with my gut and say Ruggs, even though Le'Veon Bell is so much safer there. Full PPR, Djax or Boyd? I'm going to go Boyd, especially full PPR. That being said, I love Deshaun Jackson this week. I really, really love Deshaun Jackson. But Boyd in a full PPR, he's going to haul in 7-8 balls. Joe Burrow's guy against a banged up secondary for the Chargers. So give me that all day. That's exactly what I did yesterday. I don't know what he's referring to, but okay. Boxers or briefs from Mock-David. Is nothing an acceptable answer, David?
Yeah, I'm a commando guy.
Yeah, free ball is the definite preference for Sunday and life in general. But no, I go boxers if I have to force.
I don't even own a pair of boxers.
Yeah, I've heard David's a fan of the man thong though. He likes to show off his cheeks. But
those big Latin cheeks.
Yes, oh yeah, he's real big. Tyler Bowen. Which game is most likely to go way over the over-under, and why is it Seattle-Atlanta? I always like those types of questions. I think Seattle-Atlanta is definitely a shot at it. I'm actually a little worried, though, that like Jamal Adams beefs up that secondary. If the Falcons can't get it going early, Seattle's just going to pound it with Carson as long as they can. I hope it just Ridley goes deep and Julio, and suddenly they're down 14-0, and we just get a rust.
Hey, Atlanta's favorite in this game.
Is it? What?
Yeah, they're favored by a point.
Oh my
God.
That's
a sketchy Vegas game where the public's gonna hammer Seattle and then Atlanta's gonna win by 2 touchdowns.
There's no way Atlanta wins that game. I can't imagine them being the favorite. That's crazy. You're hoping for a shootout. It has shootout potential, but there is the scenario that the Seahawks defense kind of shuts them down early. They pound it with Carson and just bleed clock for the entire first half. And we get an ugly game. Like, I think there's a better chance this one gets ugly. I'm seeing a lot of people say like Tampa Bay and New Orleans could get ugly. I think that one's like a lock shootout. I love
Seattle.
Let's get the over-under. Like, hit me.
It's at 49.
49. Like that one, I might even think goes under. Like I don't know, Tyler. I don't think I agree with you. It has the potential to go to like 70.
The Raiders Panthers over 48.
That's my favorite one. I love that one to go crazy. What's the Redskins and Eagles one at?
42.5.
I like that one to potentially, because I think the Eagles are going to put up points in a hurry, and I really think this Redskins team is going to surprise and keep it decently competitive. They have like the explosive firepower now between McLaurin, Gibson. I think Steven Sims is a sneaky little play too. If Haskins has any type of talent, and I think he might take a step this year, I think that team could really keep pace, or at least garbage time chew up points. I see that one hitting 50 or so points, so 42.5. I like that Redskins-Philly one for sure too. There's a couple other matchups I'm hammering overs under. But one just general note on that, I think it was JJ Zacharyson who tweeted this one out, was the last time that like mirrors this type of offseason was when all the players striked about, I think, 10 seasons ago or so. And in week one, where there's like no preseason, really low, warm-up time, I think it was 10 out of 13 games hit the over because of defense is just being like underprepared. You can't really simulate game action if you don't play preseason. And I think that's going to happen again. I think defenses are going to be slow.
Have you watched any college football at all the last week or so?
No, I didn't.
So they literally, they can't really tackle anyways, but it's been like a shit show. Like no one can tackle in college.
Tackling especially. The guy, Greg Cosell, awesome podcast, awesome film guy, was making that a key point of his presentation this week was tackling. How do you simulate live tackling without games? He thinks the tackling is going to be horrendous too. So if you look at guys like Gibson or like broken tackle machines, they're going to have some higher upside too. So I like, maybe I'm getting myself sold on Gibson here, but just overs in general. I love hammering overs. It's way more fun to root for points, but this is the week to hammer overs, according to history, at least. How much do you trust? The air quality sucks here, says Jeremiah.
We were talking about the 49ers game.
Oh, yes. Did you live out in San Fran, Jeremiah? I didn't realize that, but that could, it's just from the practical standpoint, lead to Coleman sitting, which would make Mostert a smash play today, and McKinnon just gives his breakout that much clearer of a path. So something to definitely track here. How much do you trust Zach Moss? I don't want to trust him in my lineup to start the season, Daniel. I think I'd trust him to take over that job at some point. I'm not a big Singletary believer. So I like owning him, but I don't trust him in my lineup today. Do I start DK Metcalf or Marquise Brown? Ooh, James Woodcock bringing the heat here. I go DK, but I fucking love Marquise too. Like, is there?
I know you can't get him in a flex.
Is there like a wide receiver 3 or flex spot? Like, I don't know, James. Let us know who else you could potentially bench. I go DK if it's between those two guys, but I think I have like wide receiver 15, 16. That banged up Cleveland secondary, it could be an absolute field day for Marquise Brown. But DK is my go-to guy if I can only pick one. Gallup or AJ Green PPR. I fucking hate AJ Green. So I'm going to go Gallup. I think with, Cooper drawing the Ramsey coverage, they typically do shadow with him. I steer a little bit away from Cooper this week, and I lean Gallup. I think he could roast their number 2 corner. And I think CeeDee Lamb's going to go just absolute bonkers too. What about you though, CJ? Do you think AJ Green, against the banged up Chargers D?
No, I'm not trusting him. That's another guy I just can't stand. I'm going Gallup.
Awful, right? Like, he had his first full practice since 2018, like just last week. Yay. Yeah. Feel real confident. Anything he was winning, he like tap out a few times a game. Like,
he pretended to hold out, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, like I'm coming back," and then he immediately hurts his hamstring.
Yeah. Exactly. Schefter tweeted Coleman's uncertain. Yeah, CJ was hit that one for us. So just again, keep that in mind for your Mostert and even McKinnon potential stream shares. Half PPR, E. Sanders, Zach Moss, or Scott for Brandy. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to go Boston Scott out of those options. I like the sure workload. I love Sanders there. Moss is like my distant third. I do like Sanders, but I really like Scott this week. That sure workload against the Washington football team. I think I've been saying Redskins broadcast by accident. That's the football team. I know. I don't know if I've made that mistake or not, but it's the football team. I love Scott against them. Taylor, Akers, Fournette, RB2. I'm going to go Taylor there. Akers rumored to be part of a 3-headed committee. I don't buy it necessarily, but I'd like to be able to see it first. And I can't trust Fournette until I see how that shakes out. I get Taylor's behind Mac, but against the
I feel like Taylor's going to break a huge run today, like a 55-yarder or something.
Oh, yeah. Talking about like Scott Hansen getting horny and announcing, like you can already see.
I think one of his first few touches, remember, Saquon did it last when he was a rookie. It was like his first touch ever.
That was unbelievable. It was like a 60-yard screen, and it was just like, holy shit. And I think Taylor is just like that level of a runner, for sure. Deep Dynasty, full PPR. Do I go Fitz, Gesicki, Herndon, or Gronk for Sutton? Ooh. I lean Gronk, I think, just for the touchdown upside. Full PPR, a guy like Herndon's going to see more peppering. I don't think I can trust Larry Fitz, although week 1 every year, I think he has like a ridiculous streak of scoring a touchdown. And I know you're an Arizona guy, Scotty Brooks. So if you want to just get your guy in and root for him, I get it, because none of these options are like clear blowaways for me. I think I go Gronk because I
honestly think all these guys score a touchdown.
Yeah, they all have great talk at it. I like Gronk shot the most just because him and Tommy back together. Evans a little banged up. I can see Gronk, I think, has the highest ceiling and a pretty safe touchdown floor today.
I have him in one of my player props to score a touchdown plus 160.
That's a great player prop. Yeah. I know. We'll have to make sure to hit some of your player props here at the bottom. Just double checking. Did we hit every news and notes? Tevin Coleman, weather. There's just a couple quick injuries I want to make sure to also for Monday Night Football. And then we'll get right back to your questions. Keep them coming in.
Yeah, we have a shitload of questions. It's already like 12, 15.
12. Oh, shit. Yeah. So we'll fire through them. Are we over 100 yet on Facebook? Can you tell us? I don't know.
Oh, I'm just looking at the StreamYard thing.
You're at the StreamYard, yeah. Hopefully. We want to hit that 200 again. But Monday Night Football injury updates to plan ahead. Just note Deontay Johnson, he practiced in full on Friday after missing practice Thursday. So he seems good to go against, again, that awful Giant secondary. I think he could have a really nice day. Golden Tate, meanwhile, is questionable on the other side of the ball. Don't wait for him against a brutal Pittsburgh matchup. No reason to wait on a questionable one there. And then we mentioned, but obviously Sutton, very unlikely to play. And if he does, it's a matter of pain tolerance. I hate, going through those guys. So in his absence, your backup plans from that game would be Hamler or Corey Davis, and those guys are also questionable. So if you have Sutton, you got to get someone in today. is kind of what the main point is. So just those were the last notes to cover. We can now rip through some questions. And unless any surprise actives or inactives pop up on us. Chris Gibbons, good to see you. Johnny Taylor, Beckham, Boyd, pick 2. Other RBs are Mixon and Clyde and have Burrow in. I like the stack then. I like going Boyd and Burrow. And then it comes down to, how much do you want to trust Beckham after this week news?
He's had a tough week.
Steamers off the chest. But he might, maybe that fires him up to play better ball than we've seen from him in recent years. So, you know what? I think I go Taylor and Boyd is what my gut's saying here, but I could see Beckham having a big day with Landry, hampered and not in a full-time role here, fully healthy. Stefanski saying he, met with OBJ. They looked at their Giants film and, worked in those concepts, showed him some of his Stephon Diggs role style, the way he could get used. So I like a lot of them. I go Johnny Taylor and Boyd there, though, Chrissy Gibbs. What about you? Would you agree with that, CJ? That's a tough one.
Yeah, I'm personally, I'm not really a big Odell fan, although I do like his bounce back year. Boyd's locked in. Yeah, let's go Taylor. Feeling 100 yards plus for him.
I hope so. We'll see. Full PPR flex spot. Djax, Gibson, James White for our guy, Jimmy McGinnis. Great to see you. I'm going to go
I like White.
I like White, especially for the floor, but I like DJ. I'm just all in on that Djax blow-up week. I'm fully buying that narrative. So I'm going Djax. CJ's going Jimmy W. Another dynasty tight end premium, Gronk, Herndon, Ian Thomas. I think Gronk for all the reasons that we emphasized earlier. Hockenson or Hurst. Ooh, that gets a little spicy. I'm going to go Hurst. I love the narrative of –
I like Hockenson.
me and you aren't agreeing for Jimmy. We're not making it easy for him. But the Seattle Seahawks gave up it was 5th or 6th most last year to tight ends. They do have Jamal Adams now, so it's tough to just be boom, they sucked last year at this. Now they're going to be, the same shittiness. Tough to say when you get a talent like Jamal Adams inserted into your secondary. But I love them both. A great week from both. Give me Hurst, though, personally. Both are the same prices in DraftKings, too. 43 for Hurst, 42 for Hockenson. So I go Hurst. Sit start, Adam Thielen, Ruggs, and DeConter Parker. It's got to be Thielen. It's not even close, varsity. It was intriguing today to watch their pregame. He was talking about how he doesn't even feel like he's broken out and how the way he's been getting used by Kubiak throughout this preseason, he feels like he's going to have his truest breakout yet. I mean, this guy was already a wide receiver, number 5 wide receiver, number 6 wide receiver in back-to-back seasons, and he thinks he's going to be taken to a new level. Ooh, baby. I'm excited about Thielen, and that's not even close for me in that one. Answer, Jordan Reed. I don't know what the question was for, but Jordan Reed is never the answer, Mike Rapp. Never the answer. Pete, what's going on, man? What's up? Do I need to start Boston Scott over Chris Thompson today? Feels weird, and yes, you do. Scott's the
I don't think that's weird.
Yeah. Why is that weird? Chris Thompson, you're that excited about? Come on. There's nothing that thrilling about Chris Thompson. So, yeah, give me Boston Scott over him. PPR Lockett or Chark, asks Marcos Valdez. I like Lockett, but I love them both. I mean, I think they're both top 16 in my rankings this week.
Yeah, I put Chark into my DFS up too.
Yeah, garbage time. Minshew's going to lock in on him and pepper him late. But I like Lockett. Wide receiver 3 before he got hurt last year and picks up right where he left off. Potential shootout game there. I like it. Who should I start at flex? R. Woods or Jackson Standard? I'm going to go Woods there. Bobby Woods, banged up, not even banged up, just they lost a ton of talent in that Cowboys secondary. And I like that game to take off tonight. But I did, and that's loving Deshaun Jackson. You're on the Bobby Woods train this year, right?
Oh, 100%. I have his future for receiving yards, receptions, everything. I have him on 3 teams.
Yeah, he's gonna feast this season. Brady or Ryan? I lean Brady because I do think that Seattle secondary is a little bit better. I think that game is going to be a shootout. Evans' injury does have to get factored in, but I like Brady. Who do you like out of those two?
Unfortunately, Tom Brady.
Begrudgingly agree.
Can't stand the man anymore, but yeah, I'm going Brady today. He's gonna have that pissed off. He's gonna be so fired up.
He's gonna throw 3 or 4 today for sure. Parker or CD? I'm leaning CD with the Dak stack and questionable slot play from the Rams. Yeah, I like it, Mike. I don't want Parker in my lineup if I don't have to. And if you got Dak too, you get like a Sunday night just treat to look forward to. I definitely could see CD ripping a ridiculous highlight play tonight. So yeah, I'm with you. I'll do that, Mike. I'll get aboard that. Marco Escobar, PPR flex option to replace Sutton, Gibson, Evan Ingram, or Kareem Hunt. We answered this one, right? It's Evan Ingram. Yeah, yep. Evan Ingram. We both agreed there. I owe all of you guys beers, says Sean Miller. Let's get some beers then, Sean Miller. Why don't we? Send them on over. Let's meet up. The Wolf, says Ishmael. Sexy flexy question. Good to see you, Ishmael. Long time fan here. Reagor or Taylor? Again, 2 rookies with how are they going to be used? I'm going to go Taylor there, though, for sure. It doesn't really change depending on the scoring, but obviously even better for standard or half PPR. But yeah, I like Taylor to steamroll the Jags. QB question for Omar. Jimmy G or Carson Wentz? I'm going to go Wentz there. I like Jimmy G. Arizona gave up the most points to quarterbacks last year, so I like Jimmy, but give me Wentz all day. I will note, though, Jimmy G, if you're looking for desperate streamers right now, great matchup this week, and then, the next 4 weeks he gets Miami and the Jets, and it's just like a cakewalk first 5 weeks.
Are you just saying that because you have him in your auction league?
Oh, 100%, yeah. But, I like it. For 5 weeks here, I like Jimmy G. And on that note, whoever his number one's going to be, is it Ayuk? Is it Bourne? Because we know Deebo Samuel's going to be out. One of those receivers is going to really benefit from this nice soft schedule and Deebo Samuel's absence. Devontae Parker, Shenault, or Kirk for PPR. That might be where I draw the Parker line and just go for it and see if he can beat Gilmore this time. I do like Kirk, but he's facing San Fran, so if we're worried about matchups, we can't confidently recommend him. Shenault's the highest upside, in my opinion. But
I have no idea what his deal is, though.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go Parker there. He got the better of Gilmore. Even if he has a bad game, he might still find the end zone. So I go Parker there, Giuseppe. I don't love it, but that's where I'm going. Woods or McLaurin? Oh, man. How you that stacked that you can't have them both in there for your wide receiver, too? Half PPR. I personally go McLaurin, and I love Bobby Woods. I'm
going Woods, 100%.
Yeah, you're the locked-in Woods guy. Me, personally, I like McLaurin. I'm not worried about the Darius Slay shadow reports. McLaurin dusted him last year, even if that does happen. And I don't necessarily think it does. So give me McLaurin. CJ goes Woods. I'd like to know if you can get latest both those guys in now. Kevin Coleman uncertain to play. Does that make Mostert and McKinnon more intriguing to you? Yeah, we covered that one. But yes, absolutely. Especially Mostert getting 20 carries locked in would be huge for his value. The goal line would be all his as well. So he'd be about as locked into 100 yards and a TD as anybody. And then, yes, of course, McKinnon, already probably the third down back, seeing more receiving work, seeing maybe that change of pace role to give himself a chance to take over for Coleman would be huge for his upside value on your bench. And he's out there in a lot of leagues. I would love to be stashing McKinnon if he's out there in any fantasy leagues. Half point PPR, Taylor or Gibson? We answered that one. Taylor. Out of the uncertain ones, I feel
so many Gibson questions today.
A lot of Gibson questions, and again, it's tough to recommend benching him because he does have 30-point upside. He could rip off 2 ridiculous 60+ yard TDs if the usage is lined up there. So if that happens, obviously, I guess our apologies, but it's also he also has a shot at seeing the ball 3 times for 20 yards. So the range of outcomes I think is so much wider with Gibson than it is Taylor. I think Taylor, you're getting close to 100 yards and probably a touchdown no matter what. He could also score twice. So I feel better about Taylor's floor. And I think it's a similar ceiling to Gibson. So give me Taylor there. Taylor, Jones, Parker, Sanders, full PPR pick 2 for Tunes. I like not Parker. He's my least favorite of them.
First 2, maybe?
Probably. Probably with Marvin Jones taking that number 1 role. And then would I really bench Taylor for Sanders? Probably not. Even though I love Sanders' spot here, I'm going to go Taylor for all those reasons we just raved about. James White, Djax, AJ Green, Omar Foster, the man bringing the heat today. I like Djax. You like James White is my guess.
Yep.
Yeah, the floor is definitely the James White play, but give me Djax week 1 blow up. all about it. 4,900 on DraftKings. You can't avoid it. It's a good one. Shit, I lost our place. Whereabouts did we go? Shit, we do have a lot of questions, huh?
Yeah, let's just rapid fire it.
I'm gonna have to start rapid firing these because we got 30 minutes till kickoff, baby.
We're at the 11:34 mark.
Yeah. Here we go. Full PPR. Brown, Diggs, Kirk. It's Brown. I like Diggs a lot today, though. It's not Kirk for sure, but
go.
What's that?
It's like go.
Rapid fire. Well, what do you got to give yours too? I go Brown.
Dude, Brown.
Noah Fant or Gronk full PPR. That's actually tricky.
Gronk,
I think, with Evans banged up, yeah. But then you got
I love the touchdown ceiling there.
Sutton out too gives Fant a really nice matchup against an easy Tennessee team. But I like Gronk to find the end zone today. Keenan Allen or Lockett. DK is a beast. DK sure is a beast, and I'm still going Lockett because that game could be a shootout because Lockett's a fucking beast too. So is Keenan Allen. They're all beasts. And since he gave up the most slot receiver yardage out of any team last year, so Keenan's got a great narrative today. But I have Lockett and I have DK both higher. Jonnu or Herndon. I like Jonnu. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going Jonnu there.
Yeah, both intriguing late round stabs, but I saw that report like an executive last week was saying Jonnu's a top 5 tight end in the league, and on athleticism, yards after contact,
it's so good after the catch.
So good after the catch. I think he could be a beast for sure, and I like him this week. Would you sit Parker PPR but only have Dobbins, Rager, Campbell, or McKinnon and Edwards is available? I don't think I sit Parker. All those guys can blow up though. That's what sucks. Is like I don't like Parker, and I really like the matchups of all those other guys, but I don't know that I sit Parker for any of them. I don't know. What do you think? That's tough.
Yeah, I'd be a puss and just go Parker. I'd keep it safe there.
I'd be pissed by the end of it. Like 3 of those guys.
And then say Dobbins goes off or Rager goes off, and next week you know what to do. It's like it's not that you're conceding a loss, but like you could get like 8 points from Parker and be okay.
Yeah, exactly. If we knew Coleman was out too, I might even say McKinnon pretty confidently, but we just don't know that yet, and you won't know that before Parker kicks off, sadly. Half PPR, Djax, Fournette, Diggs, or Deontay? I go Diggs, but it's really close with him and Djax. What do you think?
I'm going Djax there. I know Harditz is all over Diggs this week, but
and he should be. I mean, this Jet secondary was already awful.
John Brown's my guy this week on that team.
I love both of them. I think they both could score big play touchdowns. I go Diggs, but Djax, I literally think I have them like 24 and 25. Like they're right next to each other, Brandy. But I go Diggs, even though I love me some Djax this week. N'Keal Harrell or Mike Evans, who's a game time decision. Ugh. There's not a better option than N'Keal Harry for you, Rookie Blaze. Like, was Boston Scott, emergency Boston Scott, Brian Edwards maybe out there? I honestly
just have to go Evans there, obviously.
I go Evans, and I might pick up Scotty Miller just in the chance that Evans is clearly ruled out or like going to be on a pitch count, and you maybe go Scotty Miller. I don't want N'Keal Harry in my lineup for week 1. No way. Or Bourne for Justin Vetter's question here. I still think I go Parker, but Bourne is intriguing as really like the last man standing there. If I knew Ayuk's status, it'd be easier to go all in on Bourne. Though. Speaking of Taylor, should we be worried about Mac? I mean, he's going to be involved this week. They're saying Taylor's the spellback. I don't buy that at all. It reminds me a lot. One comparison that I saw on Twitter a lot was Adrian Peterson and Chester Taylor, where like Taylor was the guy, the starter, and AP was coming in to spell him, and Taylor got the start and had like a solid like first drive or two, and then AP came in and took his like first or second carry to the house for a 70-yarder and never looked back. Like I could see that for Taylor. Like he's that good. So I'm not too worried about Mac long term. No. Golladay out. Do I stick? Says Steve Michelson. Good to see you, brother. Stafford or roll with Cousins? I go Stafford over Cousins. Why do you want Cousins? What? He after games he had 1 or fewer TDs. I think it was like 10 out of 16 games he had 1.
Bridgewater probably available.
Yeah, I mean check if Bridgewater's there. I'll go Bridge over Stafford this week. But
should be on your team instead of Cousins anyways.
Yeah, why do you have Cousins, Steve? Awful. Jacob Carter, Judy, Moss, or Montgomery full PPR. I like Judy out of those, especially with Sutton news. You agree?
Yeah, I won nothing with Montgomery or Moss or Singletary or any of that.
We're getting a lot of those questions, like just growth running backs. No. Lockett, DK, Malcolm Brown pick 2. Ooh. Because, like, I normally would have Lockett or DK as the 2 smashes, but having them both in over Malcolm.
Wait, no, Malcolm Brown.
And you're hitting Lockett and DK. I was thinking Marquise.
Yeah, me too. I read the exact same thing.
That shouldn't even be a question. You're going both Seahawks. Pick 1 flex. Lev Bell, Marvin Jones, Hollywood, standard. Asks Seth.
Hollywood touchdown.
Hollywood. Yeah, I'm going Hollywood, especially standard for that like 150 blow up, touchdown type of things. Higbee or Jonnu, asks Toon. I'm going to go Higbee. We raved about him earlier on the show. Dallas very bad against tight ends. Higbee finished the season as the best tight end in fantasy football, like literally number 1 over Kittle and Ertz. Kittle and Kelsey. And I love Jonnu, but give me Higbee. I hope he just continues to just rip it up. I have no sit-start questions, but I'm just fired up for fantasy. I had to tune in. Go Pats. That's why you're the man, J-Mo. Thanks for tuning in, brother. Deontay Johnson or A. Gibson, half PPR. I think I'm going to go Gibson despite the good matchup for Deontay.
You're not a huge Deontay fan, I feel like.
You are? Or
no, I feel like you aren't.
I'm not. I'm not diehard. I mean, he crushed it at times last year. There's lots of metrics that say he crushed it, but I'm not. I don't know. I think it's a congested situation. So I go Gibson there. I'm going to go for the swing. Golladay out. We already answered that one. Boston Scott or Ridley in the flex. Gotta go Ridley. Yeah, jeez. Come on, Geck. I love Scott. Great guy to own, but give me Ridley all day. Wolf the GOAT, says Corey Wilkes. But CJ just getting forgotten. Somebody in the comments give CJ some love, for the love of God, as we wind down.
I did see one down a little bit.
Did we get one down a little bit? We got some love for CJ finally. We just answered that one. It's Hollywood Brown. Gallup, Lamb, or Lat Murray. I go Gallup. But I would love to throw Lamb there too. Lamb excites me more. I'll say that. But we know
so
Gallup is going to have 7 catches. Like Gallup is so steady, but Lamb is so exciting. Wait for a week on him, but yeah, I like him a lot. All in on Montgomery. I think you're just trying to piss me off, baby. He's the one that drove by us yesterday. CJ. Yeah. No way, Sam. Montgomery is fucking trash, and you're a tool for being all in on him. That's the last guy I'd plant my flag in. Tennessee D or Detroit D? I'm going to go Tennessee, especially with Sutton now, another weapon down for the Broncos. Detroit's down their top corner. I think Mitch might have himself a sneaky big day today. So I'm going Tennessee there. Ingram or Edelman, full PPR. I go Edelman there against Miami, but it's close. What do you think, CJ?
Yeah, all in on Edelman.
Tailback Tino. What else do we got? I'm sitting on Jarwin. Did we ever publish their DFS article?
Yeah, I did last night.
Oh, sweet. I haven't read the final piece. I'll check that out before kickoff. Sitting on Jarwin. Check out rotostreetjournal.com for all your DFS needs. Tailback Tino with a great DFS piece that I can't wait to check out. Cam Geckel. Sitting on Jarwin. Currently is my only TE. But with Herndon, Doyle, and Gesicki in free agency, I'm curious, is one of them a better week 1 play? I like Doyle the best out of all of them. I'm biased because I own Doyle, and he's just an RSJ staple and favorite. But Jaguars, we got Trey Burton banged up in the backup role, so it's like only Doyle with an A.
Rivers loves the tight end too.
Oh yeah, Rivers loves peppering him, and Frank Reich loves scheming it in. So I like Doyle the most out of that bunch. What about you, CJ?
I'm still on Gesicki this week.
Over Doyle? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I disagree.
They're all like all those guys are just like right on top of each other, and I like all these tight ends.
I love them all. All these good late tight ends. In this case for Jarwin as being the best one too, and Herndon. But
I'm not buying Jarwin that hype at all.
He's the one I'm lowest on, actually, to be honest. Yeah, he's one of the hypes I'm not buying personally. Antonio Gibson for Boomer 11, Zach Moss or Chris Thompson PPR. Thanks, new reader, and I'm loving the content. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it and glad you found us. It's not Moss. It comes down to Thompson, who's certainly safer than Gibson this week, but it's just not even close to his fun. Like, we're here for fun. We want to have an exciting Sunday, and Gibson might make your hair ripped out by the end of the Sunday.
I feel like he's gonna bust so hard today. I just have that
the bad feeling. You go Chrissy Thompson.
I'm still gonna go Gibson, but I feel like one of these guys has to bust, like one of these rookies. And
he's probably going to be. He's the most likely to bust. He's certainly the least certain one based on his college usage, but he's also the one that could go for 30 points today. So give me Gibson. That's what I'm gonna. Thielen is my other wide receiver. Why I have to decide between Metcalf and Hilton? Already played DJ in my flex. Okay, and that's probably for the best because I would have told you to bench DJ for those receivers. So DJ did a pretty solid job there. So yeah, that makes sense, Robert. Stacked crew. Bald man gets all my love. We have the same haircut. There we go. Finally, somebody getting some love for CJ. The unsung hero over here. Finally getting his little praise. How do you guys see the Bucs backfield play out today?
Avoiding.
Yeah, exactly. No. Is that an answer? Like, don't go near it. But if I have to guess, I think Rojo starts the game out. Probably doesn't do much. I think Fournette gets his fair share. Probably steals a touchdown if they're getting close. But I think they're going to throw it in the red zone. They want Brady to come out slinging, I bet. Gronk's going to catch one like inside the 10. So I don't want anybody in that backfield. Give me the weapons in the pass game all day instead. But, Fournette's the guy I'd probably rather own long-term, I guess, if we're answering that one. With Golladay out, you already stop asking the same fucking questions. We're going to get to it, you impatient little shits. James Robinson. Cool point. Thanks, Sam. Keep Thursday players out of the flex in future. I think that's a great point, Scott, is if you're using a running back, even if you have two running backs ahead of DJ that are going to be in your lineup, like if one tested positive for COVID, you want that flexibility of being able to put a receiver in or something like that. So I love that point. It's just a great overall strategy thing. You never have a flex player on Thursday night.
Schefter actually said about an hour ago that they did a testing of the entire league and every single player tested negative. Just for fun.
That's awesome. That is awesome to hear. I didn't think it was going to work, but maybe, just maybe, we're going to get it this year, which is amazing. Bo, Scott, or Gallup in the flex half PPR? I think I'm leaning Bo, but what do you think about Boston, Scott, or Gallup?
I kind of like Gallup today.
You are a Gallup guy. I don't know. I'm a Boston fan. That's where I'm going. Oh, I did not see this. Bryce Love.
I didn't see that either.
That is actually an important note. Thank you, Mike Clay. And we appreciate that, anybody out there watching, because we can't really keep in track of all your questions and the news that comes out. That does make Gibson, now we're going to get 30 more Gibson questions before kickoff, which I love. Keep them coming. But I think that gives him a little bump. That's one less mouth in the way. Now, McKissick was already the main mouth in the way, but realistically, what is it? It's McKissick, it's Gibson, and Peyton Barber. It could be the
Gibson. Oh my God! Imagine if it's the Barber show. That guy.
Barber gets 20 fucking carries. The Barbarian. That would be disgusting. But that is one less mouth, and that's actually intriguing because I thought Bryce Love was the one I'm most worried about, being the better pure runner. And if he's inactive, then I think Gibson's got to get a little bit of a bump up. Thank you, Mike Clay, for that note. Very important there. Hurst or Gronk? Oh, man.
We got that, didn't we?
I think so. I think I have Hurst higher in my rankings, but after this show, I'm going to adjust them. The more I've talked about Gronk today, especially with Evans dinged up, he's going to get 2 touchdowns today.
Yeah.
It's not a tight end friendly scheme, but they're going to figure out ways.
Brady's comfortable with him. They'll play him in the slot. They'll figure it out.
I would be excited to fire up Gronk today. I also have Higbee, Z-Moss, Kirk on my bench. Does Ruggs keep the edge for my second flex? Higbee versus Ruggs is intriguing. I still think it's Ruggs, though. Now that Gibson with no Bryce Love, though, would you go Ruggs or Gibson with the Bryce Love news? Is that important to you or no?
Wait, where are you seeing Gibson?
So he had Gibson earlier.
Okay. Yeah, I'm keeping Gibson, I think.
It's tough. I like Ruggs. I think I'm going Ruggs if I have the option between all of those.
I'm waiting on Ruggs. He's too vertical minded for me. He just
you can play for slot. He's definitely more than a vertical guy in my opinion. Pick one flex. Lev Bell, Marvin Jones, Hollywood. We've answered that one about 3 times now. I'm not gonna say stop repeating it because then we get more comments and it's whatever. But be patient, folks. We're gonna get to you. We promise. I need a wolf bite. What about a CJ bite?
Hey, that could be a nice little segment. Wolf bite.
Wolf bite. I like that. 10-team PPR league. I can roster 4. You can only roster 4 running backs. That's intriguing. Start Kamara and CEH, and I need a flex between Hunt, White, or I can drop one of them for Boston Scott. I wouldn't drop either for a 1-week rental like Scott. I like Scott probably. I like White more either way. So no, I might like Scott actually more than White this week, but I'm not going to drop White, who has significantly more long-term value, and certainly not dropping Hunt because if anything ever does happen to Chubb, you've got yourself a title winner. So I like Scott the most this week, but I go James White. Hurst or Gronk full PPR, we answered. It's Gronk for us. CJ still tired from the West Virginia trip. I have pictures to prove it. Ooh.
I think we're gonna keep those under lock.
Release the good Justin Reese. Let us all see these. Send them on in. I'll put them on the next live broadcast for the world to see. Zach Moss, McKinnon, J.K. Dobbins, or Swift for Dan Glander. I probably Dobbins, I think. They're saying they don't have any plan for the running back rotation. We know Ingram's going to get the start. He'll probably do well, but banged up Cleveland defense. Out of all these like backups, I like Dobbins. If I knew Coleman was sitting, I'd probably say McKinnon, but we don't know that yet. So give me Dobbins. Do you agree with that one, CJ? This one's not really clear.
This is one I would go with, but yeah, you can't. They're at one, so I mean, yeah, I'd go Dobbins here.
FYI, Bryce Love healthy scratch. Thank you, tailback Tino. Do a stock watch. Hurst over Gronk, tight end 1 PPR. Kevin Ford, you've asked this like 8 times.
and you answer it seriously every single time.
You asked it like in a different way, like 4 different
times. And this one too.
Yeah. So yeah, now you're just finding us on another platform, Steve. We're going to answer your questions, but I like the comments, so keep them coming. Ask your questions 800 times. It's fine. Do not like Ruggs, has a 4-3 corner guarding him man-to-man, won't work. So Beatty's not on the Ruggs train.
Same.
I am on the Ruggs train. None of those corners for frickin' Vegas, for the Panthers. They all suck. I have no interest in any of them. Ronald Jones or David Montgomery? No. That's my answer. Neither. If I have to go one, it's Montgomery because I think he has a better shot at a touchdown. But come on, there's got to be something else you can do. Please, Meth Hendrickson, find something else. Scott or McLaurin? I can't believe I'm asking this. Oh, McLaurin. Come on, Eric. I can't believe you're asking that either. I like Scott. I like Scott a lot. But don't ask that question. That's insulting to Terry. CJ should only be able to wear his melted tailgate sweatpants when he's live from now on. Ty Alfred. I love it. Those are great. You should have to put those
I still have them.
Those are how did they even melt those? You got stuck on the grill or something?
Like, yeah, we were at the Chiefs Patriots game. And
yeah,
you know those like the propane heaters?
Yeah.
I was standing in front of it and I had sweatpants with leggings on under it. And I was sitting there, I was like, wow, my ass is like really hot right now. I look back and my pants are on
fire. Oh man. CJ's the quiet assassin. When he speaks, everyone listens. He chooses his words wisely. There we go. We're getting some the quiet assassin. That's a pretty good way to describe you. Quiet little assassin. I like that. I'm going to the draft. Cool. Thanks for the update, Jason. Drop James White. I don't even know what that means. Drop James White or Kareem Hunt for Boss Scott? No, we answered that one. Definitely not. Even though I like Scott more this week. More long-time value to White and Hunt. I know you love Teddy Bridge. Of course I do. Would you start him over week 1 Rodgers? That's tricky because Rodgers has a great matchup too. And he's pissed off to prove why did you draft a quarterback? He's going to unload on that Vikings pathetic secondary. So I do love Teddy. I think I'm going Teddy there still. I don't know. What do you think, CJ? Teddy or Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, I love Teddy this week. And yeah. I was just putting in a bet in for Teddy right now. That's all.
Nice. I'll take some questions. Toss me in some action for Teddy. I'll pay you. Put in the MVP bet for me for Teddy for like the 100,000 to 1 or whatever.
That might be off. Let me see.
See if you can find that one. I'll Venmo you like $100 today. Would you start Jonnu over Austin Hooper? Definitely. I'm not a Hooper guy though. I've never been a Hooper guy. And I love Jonnu. So yes. Although this is the week where the corners are so locked down for the Ravens, it could make sense to play Hooper over the middle. But yeah, I'm going Jonnu there. Jair Sandoval, guys, nice to be back. Kareem Hunt or Boston Scott. Today I'm going Boston Scott, and it is great to have you back, Jair. You've been with us for a long, long time, man. I'm going Boston Scott as a start today, but obviously if it's between one to own, it's Hunt. But yeah, Boston Scott today. Parker or CD, leaning CD with the Dak stack. Yeah, we talked about that, Mike. I like it. I like the play. And then Jonnu or Herndon. I like Jonnu more personally. As good as Herndon is as a potential, number one there. I like Jonnu. Marvin Jones or Boston Scott. That's tricky, JM McCall. I lean Scott. I would like to know PPR half. That would help, but I think I go for Scott, despite the upside of Jones. What if he does get taken out because he's the number one option? So yeah, I go Scott there. CD Lamb over Keenan Allen for flex. I love CD Lamb, but Keenan Allen, the Cincinnati,
maybe in a few weeks.
Enjoy watching him light it up tonight because I really do think he could and will. But Keenan Allen's also going to light it up, and we've seen him do it for 5-6 years now. Cincy's team is god awful. Remember Cooper Kupp's explosion against them out of the slot? That was an absurd game. They're just so bad against slot corners. So give me Keenan Allen there. I don't care who craps on his chest in his free time. Just catch touchdowns for my Browns. Talking about Odell. That's true. Keep getting those dumps as long as you're catching the touchdowns for our fantasy teams. Cassie Conley Hillegas. PPR full. Taylor, Chark, McLaurin, Ridley at flex. Holy shit. Who's in your lineup? Is this a 5-man team? That's crazy. Or 5-man league. They're all great. I personally have McLaurin the highest.
I like Ridley there.
Yeah,
I like Ridley there.
A little higher. Yeah, Ridley. I think Ridley's the play. I love them all. I mean, those are all great options. So well done in your draft there. Doyle, Hockenson, Ebron. For today, I'm going TJ. I'm going to go Hockenson. I have Doyle just below him too, and I do really like me some Ebron in that easy Giants matchup. But Hockenson with the removal of Golladay, I think he could end up even more than Marvin Jones being that number one in a game that I think could be a sneaky shootout. Another one for you. Using Boyd definitely. Last one to nail the flex. John Taylor or Ruggs. Ooh, baby. I'm going to go John Taylor though. Yeah. Definitely going Taylor, even though I like me some Ruggs. We got 15 minutes. How many we got? Okay, we're good. We're close to the bottom here. So we are we'll rifle through these. So we're left off here. D Jackson Marvin Jones or Keenan half PPR. I'm going Keenan, definitely. Despite the upgrade for Jones this week. D Jackson or Gallup full PPR. I go D Jax. Do you go Gallup or what do you think, CJ?
I'm going Jackson there.
Jake McCall. We're getting some good YouTube here. Nice. Good to see the YouTube crowd coming out for the show. Full PPR flex. Marvin Jones or Boston Scott. I think I just answered this. I lean Boston Scott personally. Do you agree? That's a tough one.
Yeah, what I said earlier, I think Jones is actually worse off with Golladay off the field. Yeah,
potentially the number one coverage could take him out. Scott or Montgomery, also Cooper or John Brown. I'm going to go Boston Scott locked in over Montgomery. Cooper or John Brown's a little trickier, but with Ramsey on Cooper, I kind of like the John Brown blow-up narrative. What do you think?
I don't know. I'd probably be a puss and go Cooper week one.
Yeah.
I do love John Brown this week.
It's always so tough. It's just in general in fantasy, right? You have your studs, Parker was a stud last year, but they come in tough matchups. How far do you take that is tricky.
When Cooper gets erased, he gets completely erased. He'll go for a goose egg.
But if they don't shadow him with Ramsey and he plays that Devontae Adams role in McCarthy's offense, he's also going to be a potential beast. So yeah, I think I'm okay with Cooper staying in there. Morning, fellas. Sion Cena, great to see you. Happy Sunday football. Indeed, it is. Half PPR, Smith, Hurst, or Gronk. I think we decided today, and it might not be reflecting in my rankings right now, but I think we both decided Gronk's our highest in a lot of these questions. Do you agree with Gronk over Hurst?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I think it could be a good one. Tennessee for the stream. For the defense. I'm no, not in Tennessee. I'd love to be in Nashville right now.
Yeah, probably.
No, I like Tennessee to stream against a potential turnover-prone Drew Lock without his number one. They're a pretty good streaming option. I can get behind it for sure. Bridgewater, McCaffrey, DJ Moore stack, and DFS. Kelleher, I'm all about that stack. I am potentially running Bridgewater out naked, though, this weekend, which almost every single piece of literature on DFS says you have to stack. Almost every single – I think it was only 10% of lineups did not have a stack. in the last like 3 years of DFS research. But that offense could spread that wealth really well. That's kind of like Joe Brady's calling card. And I wouldn't be surprised to see like 4 different people catch 4 touchdowns, which is why I'm comfortable with Bridgewater being a naked QB. Now, if I'm stacking him, McCaffrey and him make total sense. I think McCaffrey could easily haul one in and still just have a monster on the ground too. DJ Moore at 6,600. At that point, you got Allen Robinson at 65, Adam Thielen at 67. So I kind of go elsewhere other than DJ Moore. If you want to fit in another receiver, look for Robbie Anderson at 4,700. That's my sneaky, like, weird gut play. I think Anderson's going to go 150 and a touchdown or 2 today. I do. Crazy, I know, but wait till it happens. Well, I'm going to have you cut this clip, CJ. Take a little time. 145, 14 seconds. Robbie Anderson is my favorite, like, Millie Maker stack today with Teddy Bridgewater. Interesting. It's a great way to pivot away from Deshaun Jackson if you don't want to eat the chalk. All righty. If you look at Josh Allen's numbers against Jets, he has sucked. Still start him over Tanny. He's not going to suck Mateo. And great to see you, by the way. I'm starting Josh Allen. He's going to destroy this Jets team. Does he really suck against the Jets? Like,
yeah, I've no idea. I know they lost week 1 last year because I got knocked out of my Survivor League. But
oh yeah, remember that?
But yeah, I like Allen today a lot.
Was planning on starting McLaurin, but do I consider Marvin Jones? No. Gurley, James White, or James Robinson from Jax. I got to go Gurley there. I don't love Gurley, but week 1 when he still has fresh legs and isn't like a decrepit old man, I'll go Gurley. He had helicopter play. He had hard as his helicopter play, exactly. So you always got to pay attention to those. Is the 49ers game for sure being played? Yes, it is, right? That's confirmed.
Yep.
I have Mostert in, but would pivot to Diggs if not. But Bills kick off at 1. So, yeah, Foster, they are playing, Omar. And you have the chance that Coleman sits with Mostert. I think I keep riding that out because it could be an insane day for Mostert if that ends up playing out where Coleman sits. Cooper or Marvin Jones, asks Jesse. I go Cooper. I think we kind of answered that one recently. Gurley, Robinson, White, Parker added to that conversation for Matt. I still go Gurley there. Hunter Henry or Jonnu. I guess you got to go Hunter Henry, but I mean, I like Jonnu too. I don't own Hunter Henry anywhere.
Neither, and I always do. I always do. Like every year I have. It's always him and Evan Ingram, my guys. But
yeah, I got off him with the Tyrod train, so we'll see. Boston Scott or Djax. I go Djax. I know you said Boston Scott, but I'm going for that Djax train personally.
That's our contest winner.
Indeed. Cynthia. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Thursday, that contest. Cynthia Freeland looks fucking slamming today. Okay. Thanks, Chris. What's up, CJ? Says Jacob. Did you end up sending him his shirt yet, CJ?
It takes me a few weeks.
Yeah, it might be a month or 2 before you get that shirt.
You'll get it at Christmas.
Don't let CJ forget. Keep pestering. CJ the man too. There you go. Some late love for the.
There we go.
I like it. Metcalf for OBJ and half-point PPR. Metcalf for me, no doubt. Starry guys, missed the question earlier. Really stressing Teddy or Tyrod. Kind of leaning Tyrod. Giuseppe, get the fuck out of here. If you're not going to listen to us on Teddy, then when are you going to listen to us? It's Teddy, baby. Love me some Teddy for season long and also for week 1. Because Tyrod's going to get benched soon enough. It's just like maybe he's a good stream this week. I have him or Garoppolo I'm debating, to be honest. But ultimately, I don't
even think this is a stress. I think this is like an easy lock-in.
Yeah, come on, Giuseppe. Why are you stressing? Get you some Bridgewater. He's our pick to be like that blow-up late tight end this year. QB, not tight end. Alrighty, 9 minutes. Let's get through the rest of these. Hockenson or Doyle? I go Hockenson, but it's really close. I love me some Doyle this week, too. Debating on Gibson over Jay. Don't know who Jay is. Sounds good, Mike Clay. With Bryce out, you got to consider it.
It's Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, Jay Taylor. Yeah, because he has him. Over there it is, Jonathan Taylor. I still think I go Taylor even with this new news. What do you think?
Yeah, I like Taylor too.
Pick 2, Melvin Gordon, Le'Veon Bell, or Julian Edelman. I'm going Edelman and I'm going Bell, I think.
Yeah, me too.
PPR, I think I missed your question. That was just in relation to the Bell or Edelman. Stafford or Garoppolo. I go Stafford. That's kind of where I draw the line, even though I'm a little lower on him. Should I bench Evans today, seeing he's a game-time decision? Probably Lance. Have Ruggs and Lamb from Cowboys. I'd rather have either one of them in my lineup, to be honest. And I prefer Ruggs from those options. Flex PPR, James White or John Brown. I like them both a lot, but I'm going Jimmy White. What do you think?
Yep, going the same.
And last one, I would have to look and see how many total we got today. AJ Green or Shepard, full PPR. I go Green just because I don't love AJ Green, but I don't love Shepard at all, and he gets a tougher matchup.
Yeah, Ingram's my only guy in that offense, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, we agree there. I guess so. That one just got asked too here. AJ Green or Shepard. So we answer that. Zach Moss or Gibson with Sanders out, full PPR. I go Gibson now, especially with the Bryce Love news. I think I would have gone Gibson anyways, but that helps as well. As soon as we think we're done, the questions keep coming in. Start 2, non-PPR, Godwin, Amari Cooper, or Metcalf. Godwin and Metcalf would be my plays today. I would bench Cooper for those guys. All right, folks, we only got 7 minutes, and I got to get my lineups and make sure they're all.
I know, I'm having anxiety right now. Pretend.
So, guys, this was a great opening tailgate. So many questions. You guys are the best. Thanks so much for tuning in. Best of luck. Week 1, we are here. Scott Hansen's angelic face is about to bless our screens, and it is the best feeling in the world. So enjoy it. I hope all your teams smash. Unless you're in my league, then you can go fuck yourselves. Everybody else, best of luck. Have a wonderful first Sunday. Let us know how you do. And we'll be here tomorrow for your recap right at 7 p.m. Eastern time. All righty, guys. Good luck. See you guys later. Thanks again for tuning in.